This video is brought to you by Saraswati Vidyalaya Union. This is Prapti. Today we are going to study about the respiration and circulation. From that we are going to study about transportation in living organism.
Now the next concept is there, that is known as the transportation in living organism. In the transportation of living organism, so either that organism it is unicellular or that organism it is multicellular, any one of these. So in both of these organisms, so both of them having one of the property. So which type of property they have? They have the one of the property. Through that property, suppose this is one of the organism. Okay, I have not given here it is unicellular or the multicellular. Now we are talking about the property. Which type of property is there? So the property is what? They can exchange the material. They can exchange the material from surrounding. Means from this organism takes that substances. The properties of the exchange, they can exchange the material from surrounding, as well as they can exchange the material in between the cell. That cells are present inside it. So this is the main property this organism having. Okay. So that is exchange of material. Exchange of material with surrounding or you can say that material with surrounding or within cell or body. This is the property. Now we are going to study about this transportation in detail. Means here, for example, any organism is taking oxygen or nutrients. So it's like a computer. In the computer, not only the input system is there, output system is also there. Okay, so as per that only, if suppose any organism is taking oxygen or nutrient inside the body, so at that time they are utilizing it. So then that oxygen or the nutrients which is moving inside the cell, which is get utilized inside the cell, so as per the movement, as per the utilization, so then this oxygen is produces the waste product, and this waste product which enters into the surrounding. Okay, means here this is nothing but what? This is nothing but the transportation. But in this transportation, two main concepts are there. Okay, two main things are there. First one is there, so that is known as the diffusion. First one is there, diffusion, and the second step is there, the second method is there. So generally transportation takes place with the help of both of these, diffusion and the active transport. Okay, in the living organism, transportation takes place with the help of diffusion or the active transport. Diffusion we have already seen. Diffusion means what? So there is a movement of gases, movement of material, movement of the substances from higher concentration towards the lower concentration. That is known as a diffusion. Through that diffusion there is a transportation takes place. Or the active transport means what? So movement of substances means either the movement of gases, food or anything. So that is from lower concentration towards the higher concentration. Higher concentration. So this is known as the transportation. Okay, But for this diffusion, for the active means for this active transportation, things should be required over there. The first one is what? In this, the surface area. The surface area of that organism, it should be large. Means this is more surface area, that means more transportation. If the surface area is small, so then will be the less transportation, less exchange of the gases. So that's why the surface area, it should be large. The next thing is what? In this, the distance between the two cells. Distance between two cells, it should be small. Because suppose one cell is here, the other cell is there. So the transportation is not possible. Okay, means it will be the difficult. But whenever the two cells inside that organism, if the two cells are present near to each other, suppose one of the cell is here, one of the cell is there, so then exchange of the material is possible. Means for the transportation, both of these properties should be there. Okay, now here we are going to study about the two things that is known as the types of this transportation. In these types of the transportation, two types are there. One is known as the, see this, in these types of transportation, one of the type of transportation, it is known as the intracellular transportation. Intracellular transportation. The name itself gives information. Intra means inside that cell only. The exchange of material takes place inside the cell only. So this intracellular transportation, generally it takes place in what? It takes place in the paramecium. Amoeba, as well as root hairs. So this root hairs in plants. With the help of root hair, the transportation takes place in the plants, as well as WBCs. So that WBCs in animals. The transportation takes place in the WBCs in animals. Okay, so this is about the intracellular transportation. This what happens, see that like this is the paramecium is. Okay, in this the method of this transportation, it is known as the cyclosis. Okay, so here like this is the paramecium. In this paramecium, with the help of this mouth, so they are taking the food material inside it. Okay, means actually in the cyclosis what happened? This cyclosis, that is the streaming. Cyclosis means streaming movement. That is streaming movement of cytoplasm. Means that food substances are moving inside this cell only, like this. From here, they are moving here, then here, then here. That streaming movement of the cytoplasm, that is known as the cyclosis. That is type of this intracellular transportation. Just click it. So this is one of the things which takes place in amoeba as well as paramecium also. Here I have given about the paramecium. Okay. Now the next one is there. See that I'll just rub this. Okay. Now the second type of the transportation is there. That second type of transportation, which is known as the extracellular transportation. Means in this extracellular transportation, so generally, So this transportation takes place in the sponges and coelentratas. So in this coelentratas as well as sponges, coelentratas means what? That example is nothing but this cycon. Cycon is the example, sponges, and coelentratas example is what? That is hydra. So in both of these, the movement of water, okay, the movement of water is there. So that water takes place with the help of the body cavity. If you have seen the structure of this cycon, the structure is like this. On this small pores are present. Okay, so through that small pores, that water enters inside it. The movement of water. That's why it is known as the extracellular transportation. Okay, so this is one of the example of the extracellular transportation. Then the second example of the extracellular transportation, that is known as the flatworms. Flatworms, example of flatworm is what? Platyhelminthes. Okay, in the flatworm or the platyhelminthes, there are the particular type of cells are present. That cells are known as the parenchymal cell. With the help of this parenchymal cell, there is a transportation takes place. So that type of transportation, it is known as the parenchymal circulation. Okay, then next one, the example of the extracellular transportation, it is known as the roundworms. Roundworms, in the roundworms, so there is actually in the roundworms what happened, these blood vessels are there. These blood vessels are absent. They are not present. They are absent over there. So due to the absence of the blood vessel over there, they can move. There is a movement of the body fluid. So this body fluid is there. That body fluid, it is moved around viscera. This body fluid which is there, that body fluid which move around the viscera by the contraction of body wall and muscles. This is known as the extracellular transportation. What we have seen here in the transportation in the organism, here we have seen the transportation generally in the organism takes place with the help of diffusion and the active transport. Okay, diffusion means what? So the movement of water or the gases is that transport that substances from higher concentration towards a lower concentration. In the active transportation, it is from lower concentration to higher concentration. But for both of these, the surface area, it should be large. If the large surface area, that means more transportation. If the less surface area, that means less transportation. So that surface area, it must be large. And the distance between the two substances, it should be small. The transportation. Then, here are two types of transportation. One is known as the intracellular transportation and the second one is known as the extracellular transportation. Here we have seen the example. For example, in paramecium, amoeba, root hairs in the plants as well as WBCs in the animals. In them, there is a transportation. This type of transportation is the intracellular transportation. Means the movement of the food material takes place inside it. Okay, that method is known as the cyclosis. That is the streaming movement of the cytoplasm. It is known as the cyclosis. Now, this is about the intracellular transportation. Then extracellular transportation in different organisms by the different method. For example, in sponges and the coelenterata, so this movement of water through the body cavities with the help of the body cavities. Then in the flatworms such as the Platyhelminthes, so it takes place with the help of the parenchymal circulation, means that parenchyma cells are there, with the help of that movement of the substances takes place. In the roundworms such as the Ascaris and all the others, okay, in the roundworm, so with the help of there are blood vessels are absent, so that movement of the body fluid, so that body fluid moved around that viscera, okay, and then by the contraction of body wall and the muscle, the circulation or the movement, the transportation is taking place into that organism. Okay,